So, have you ever woken up feeling just utterly unrested?
Yeah, like your body just didn't get the memo to recharge, even after, 8 solid hours.
Exactly. Or maybe you're battling that persistent fatigue. Or those headaches that seem to appear out of thin air.
Right. Or maybe skin issues that just won't clear up, a dull complexion.
Yeah.
That general feeling of unease,
Mm-hmm.
maybe anxiety.
Yeah, that too. And it's so common, isn't it, to just chalk these up to stress or, well, just getting older. But what if it's not just the inevitable march of time? What if it's actually a sign, like a silent alarm about something much bigger in our daily lives?
It's a pretty surprising thought, isn't it? We focus so much on diet, exercise.
Right, the usual suspect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the sources we looked at, they really push this idea that the air we breathe every day, especially indoors, is this huge, often overlooked factor.
A determinant of our health.
Yeah, determining how effectively our bodies purify toxins.
Yeah.
Our overall toxic burden. And the really key insight here isn't just that toxins exist.
We kind of know that.
We do. But it's that our bodies seem to have a finite capacity to deal with them. The research brings up this critical concept, a toxin accumulation saturation point.
Okay, saturation point.
It's not just a threshold. It's presented as more like a biological tipping point, almost like this invisible health cliff we might be walking towards unknowingly every single day.
Wow, an invisible health cliff. That's incredibly unsettling.
It is.
And that really sets the stage for today's deep dive, because we're looking into what the sources present as a potentially revolutionary solution, something aimed at fundamentally transforming our living spaces. It's called Heavenly Purified Habitat, or HPH. We're going to explore the insights from an invention patent, that's U.S. patent number US 8268058B2, and really get into the technology behind this unique approach.
Sounds fascinating.
Okay, let's unpack this. So, if HPH is the proposed solution, let's really dig into the problem first.
Yeah.
Why are we apparently aging prematurely, getting sick more often, feeling so exhausted? The material we reviewed paints a pretty stark picture, frankly. It lists the symptoms we just touched on. Waking up tired, even after enough sleep, your brain feels foggy.
That lack of mental restoration, yeah.
Dry skin, allergic skin, dull complexion, that frequent anxiety or irritability, maybe even a subtle chest tightness, those weird headaches.
Headaches from nowhere, right?
Right. And then the earlier than expected onset of chronic diseases after middle age. That's the kicker.
And the sources are really clear on this.
Yeah.
They insist these aren't just age-related issues. They're framing them as symptoms of a deeper environmental burden.
So not just bad luck or genetics.
That's the argument. They connect these widespread symptoms directly to chronic, like 247, exposure to environmental toxins. Think about all the invisible stuff around us.
Okay, like what specifically?
Indoors, you've got constant exposure to VOCs, volatile organic compounds. They off-gas from, everything. Cleaning agents, new furniture, paints, even synthetic building materials.
Stuff we use every day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then you have the outdoor threats sneaking inside. PM 2.5, you hear about that a lot.
Yeah, fine particles.
Right, and even smaller submicron particles from car exhaust, factories, construction dust.
Yeah.
They just find their way in.
And it doesn't stop there, does it? The sources mention circulating toxins we might not even think about.
Like what?
Things like bacterial spores, fungal fragments, all the dust that builds up in our air conditioning systems and gets blown around.
Ah, the AC system. Good point.
Plus, those hidden chemical mixtures. You know,
Right.
the complex toxic gases released from things like artificial fragrances, air fresheners, scented candles.
Things we use to make our homes smell clean.
Exactly. It's kind of ironic, isn't it? We think we're freshening the place up, but we might actually be adding to this invisible toxic load.
It really is ironic. And these are unseen toxins, just silently accumulating in our bodies. The research argues this happens day after day, year after year. Until we hit that toxin accumulation saturation point. And once that point is breached, it's not just about feeling a bit off.
It's that tipping point you mentioned.
Precisely. The body shifts toward functional disorders. And critically, what the sources describe as an irreversible period of decline. Our natural detox pathways just get overwhelmed.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting, because after laying out this pretty sobering problem, the sources introduce this potential game changer. They call it Hu Ge, which translates from Chinese to Heavenly Purified Habitat, HPH.
Right.
And the description is bold. An ultimate air Six-Free Maze Purification device designed specifically for our daily home living spaces. Sounds almost like science fiction.
It does have that ring to it. And it's really crucial, the material emphasizes this, to understand what HPH is not.
Okay, what isn't it?
It's explicitly stated. It's not an air purifier in the way we usually think of them. It's not a humidifier, not an air conditioner, not just some fancy fragrance thing.
So it's trying to be something different entirely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It aims to transcend those categories. What it is, according to the source, is an engineering product that transforms an entire space into a non-toxic purification cabin.
A purification cabin inside your home.
That's the idea. This distinction is key. It shifts the focus from just, filtering the air a bit to creating a fundamentally different, pristine environmental condition, especially in your personal space, like your bedroom.
So we're definitely talking about something beyond a standard HEPA filter here. Let's just reiterate the names. Hu'utsa in Chinese, Heavenly Purified Habitat in English, HPH.
And the core tech is novel, the Air Six-Free Maze Purification System, backed by that U.S. patent, US 8268058B2.
So it's not just a concept, it's patented tech addressing this fundamental issue. Now, you listening might be wondering, okay, sounds advanced, but is this actually for me?
Right, who needs this?
And that's one of the most intriguing parts. The sources suggest its applications are incredibly broad. It's not just for people who are already sick.
No.
For instance, it's suggested for basically all people over 30.
Over 30.
Why? Because apparently, around that age, our body's natural ability to metabolize toxins, to purify itself, starts to decline, which can lead to what the sources call chronic poisoning early aging.
So it's framed as a proactive measure. That makes sense. If your body's becoming less efficient at handling this constant toxic load,
then reducing the load itself becomes critical.
Exactly. The research also strongly points to individuals with allergies, asthma, hay fever, chronic nasal congestion.
People who already react badly to airborne stuff.
Precisely. These conditions are often seen as direct signs of the immune system battling air toxins. So removing those triggers could offer, potentially profound relief, naturally, maybe without needing as much medication.
That makes a lot of sense. And it's also specifically targeted at pregnant women and families with infants.
Which immediately raises thoughts about vulnerability.
Right. Their toxin tolerance is extremely low. The sources claim poor air quality can have something like a 10-fold impact on them compared to adults, affecting development, long-term health. It's quite alarming.
It is. And what's fascinating here is how the recommendations span this huge range from the most vulnerable
to those aiming for peak performance.
Exactly. Elderly individuals, chronic disease patients, people recovering from cancer. They're mentioned as needing non-toxic air to help recovery because their bodies are already under stress.
Okay.
But then, on the flip side, you have remote workers, creators, engineers, investors.
People rely on brain power.
Right. The claim is that air quality directly impacts their mental performance, creativity, decision-making. Imagine your environment actually boosting your focus.
That's a powerful idea, covering such a wide spectrum of beneficiaries. And finally, for those just seeking longevity, maybe a more youthful appearance, genuinely wanting to slow down aging.
The fountain of youth.
Well, the premise is appealing. Simply, daily sleeping in non-toxic air is suggested to help the body's natural repair processes, without needing drugs or surgery. Just giving your body the absolute best environment to heal itself.
It's about letting the body do what it's designed to do. Repair, heal, thrive by removing the obstacles.
Okay, so with all these potential benefits laid out, HPH might start sounding like this ultimate luxury item, right? Something maybe only a few could access.
Yeah, you could see it that way.
But the source material really pushes back against that. It frames HPH not as a luxury, but as an essential piece of living equipment.
Essential? Why such a strong claim?
The reason, they argue, is simple but profound. Humanity has, quote, never truly solved the problem of airborne toxins in our everyday living spaces.
That's a bold statement, but it makes you think. Are current solutions enough?
Well, that leads to their critique of existing devices. The research argues most air purifiers on the market mainly get rid of visible dust, maybe larger particles.
It's the stuff you can see.
Right. But they're almost ineffective, the source says, against the really nasty stuff. Nano-level harmful particles, chemical gases, VOCs, bacterial fragments, odor molecules.
So the most insidious threats, the ones contributing to that saturation point, they might just be getting through traditional filters.
That seems to be the claim. It's like sweeping the floor but leaving all the invisible allergens and dust floating in the air. You feel cleaner, but the problem isn't fully addressed.
And it gets worse, doesn't it? What about just opening a window or using the AC?
Yeah, the sources call typical purifiers self-consoling devices in those scenarios. Because as soon as you open a window or the AC kicks in and circulates air, the indoor toxin levels quickly match the outdoor levels again.
Ah, so you're constantly fighting a losing battle, essentially, like bailing water from a leaky boat, as you said. The problem's never truly contained.
Exactly. So HPH isn't positioned as just making the air a little cleaner. It's about providing a dedicated period they specify at least 8 to 10 hours daily.
Like while you sleep.
Precisely. A period of complete isolation from virtually all these air toxins, offering your body a pure, stable reboot space where it's not constantly fighting environmental junk.
So it's less an appliance, more like creating a foundational health environment.
That's the idea.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, this dedicated clean air time becomes potentially transformative. The sources identify it as, well, critical repair time for organ detoxification.
Makes sense when the body isn't fighting external threats.
Right. Also, as a safe window to potentially delay the progression of chronic diseases. And an invaluable opportunity for emotional stability, for autonomous nervous system repair.
How so?
Think about the energy your body saves by not having to constantly process toxins. That energy can be redirected towards healing, towards deeper rest.
So better sleep, maybe calmer mood.
That's the implication. Ultimately, it's presented as maybe the most crucial core routine for anti-aging and longevity, letting the body truly rest and restore itself without that constant environmental assault.
Okay, the concept of an HPH, this heavenly purified habitat, it sounds incredibly appealing, like a true sanctuary.
It does.
But the big question for anyone listening, especially if you're a bit skeptical, is
Right.
how on earth does it actually do all this? It sounds maybe almost too good to be true.
The mechanics are key, definitely.
Let's get into that, the airflow bioengineering aspect. What's the fundamental principle here? How does it achieve this?
The core idea, as presented, is really about active, multi-layered destruction and capture, not just passive filtering like a simple sieve.
Okay, active destruction and capture.
The design goal is stated very explicitly. Never let toxins enter the human body in the first place, within that protected space.
That's ambitious.
Very. And they achieve this, or aim to, through what they call the Six-Free standard for the air it produces.
Six-Free, what does that cover?
It's comprehensive. I mean, it's dust-free, getting rid of particles from PM 0.3 up to PM 2.5 completely. Germ-free, no leftover bacteria, mold, viruses.
Okay.
Toxin-free, actively decomposing gas toxins and organic compounds. Smoke-free, eliminating things like cigarette smoke, artificial fragrances, cooking fumes. Odor-free, meaning no scents, no chemical smells, no residues at all. And finally, metal-free, tackling both particle-form metals and even vapor-state heavy metals.
That is an incredibly high bar for air quality. Dust, germs, toxins, smoke, odors, metals, the whole lot.
It's aiming for near absolute purity within that space.
So how does the technology actually deliver on this Six-Free promise? The source details a very specific 5-step process for this Air Six-Free Maze Purifier. Can you walk us through it?
Absolutely. It starts with step 1, primary negative ionization plus pathogen neutralization plus HEPA pre-filtration. Bit of a mouthful.
Okay, break that down. Negative ionization.
Yeah, so the air first goes through a chamber that uses negative ions. It's a clever way to give tiny, invisible microparticles an electrical charge.
Like static electricity.
Sort of, because once they're charged, you can manipulate them more easily. This step also helps neutralize viruses and bacteria. Then, right after that, a high-efficiency HEPA filter acts as the first physical net, catching the bigger stuff like PM 2.5, dust, pollen, microplastics.
So charge the tiny stuff, filter the bigger stuff.
Exactly. And here's a key innovation mentioned. Instead of using traditional activated carbon, which can get saturated and stop working well.
Yeah, you have to replace those often.
Right. This system uses what they call a no-consumable electrostatic chemical decomposition module, specifically for VOCs and gaseous toxins.
No, consumable. So it doesn't just trap them, it breaks them down.
That's the claim. Actively decomposing them rather than just passively absorbing them until the filter is full.
Okay, that's quite a first step. Charging particles, neutralizing pathogens, filtering big stuff, and actively breaking down gases. What's next?
Then comes step 2. Secondary negative ion zone reinforcement. Think of it as a second wave.
Reinforcement.
Yeah, the air enters another space where more negative ions are released. This further charges any particles that might have slipped through, enhancing the sterilization, the deodorization, and continuing to break down things like formaldehyde and other tricky organic toxins. It's like a double check, making sure everything gets zapped.
So really making sure those particles are charged and ready to be dealt with. Where do they go then?
That leads directly into step 3, electrostatic precipitation, black box absorption.
Black box. Sounds intriguing.
It does. Essentially, all those negatively charged particles, the dust, the germs, the toxin remnants that get pulled like magnets, towards high-efficiency electrostatic collection plates.
So they stick to these plates.
Exactly. They get trapped permanently, preventing them from getting back into the air. And this black box, which holds these collection plates, is actually a replaceable part. They recommend changing it every 3 to 6 months to keep the system working at peak efficiency.
Got it. Charge them, double charge them, then pull them out onto capture plates. But the name mentioned a maze. Where does that fit in?
Ah, yes, the maze. That's step 4. The maze effect filtration structure. This is really clever.
How does it work?
The air is forced to flow through multiple angled turning channels. It's not a straight path. The sources describe it as creating an airflow extension and a particle collision trap.
Collision trap?
Yeah. Think about nanoparticles. They're incredibly tiny and light. When the airflow makes sharp turns in these channels, the heavier or less agile particles can't make the turn as easily as the air itself.
So they crash into the walls.
Precisely. They collide with and stick to the inner walls of the maze, which are designed to be positively charged to attract the negatively charged particles. It's described as every corner is a trap, no toxins can escape. It's like an invisible labyrinth designed to catch even the most elusive pollutants.
Wow, that's intricate. Physical trapping through inertia and electrostatics in a maze. Okay, so after all that...
After all that comes step 5, final clean air discharge. Only the air that has successfully navigated and been treated by all 4 preceding steps. Ionization, neutralization, electrostatic capture, and the maze filtration is finally released for you to breathe.
So it's not just filtering, it's this multi-stage systematic process. Charging, neutralizing, trapping, decomposing, and maze navigating.
Yeah.
This really does sound like, as the source calls it, a revolutionary technology core concept. Not just one filter, but this layered, continuous 5-step bioprotective air reboot technology, using the maze effect and polarity control.
The electrical charging and attraction, yeah.
To achieve what they claim is nearly 100% purification within a home environment. It's definitely positioned as more than just a passive filter. It's an active engineered system. How do they back up that nearly 100% claim, though? That's incredibly high.
The sources express a lot of confidence in this multi-layered approach. They argue that traditional filters just catch whatever happens to pass through. Right. Whereas this system actively eliminates and traps particles and gases using multiple mechanisms working together. The ionization, the electrostatic fields, the maze collisions, the chemical decomposition. They suggest this synergy makes it far more comprehensive. They do point to their own testing data to support these claims, although the full details aren't in the overview we have. It's mentioned as part of the patent documentation and supporting materials.
Okay. And beyond the core tech, what about practical aspects? Living with it day to day.
They highlight some key advantages there, too. It's designed for sealed rooms, which is important because it means you can run it continuously overnight with the door closed and still get purified air.
Good for bedrooms, then.
Exactly. It also has features like a new air guidance design and circulating air pressure balance to stop the air from becoming stagnant, which can be an issue in tightly sealed spaces.
And crucially, does it create any byproducts? Ozone, fragrances?
That's a major point they stress. It operates without adding artificial fragrances, without producing ozone, and without causing secondary chemical pollution. And it's quiet, supposedly below 30 decibels, which is ideal for sleeping.
Very quiet. Can it work with fresh air intake, too?
Yes. They mentioned it can be integrated with new air introduction structures, potentially allowing for 247 purification, even while bringing in fresh air.
Okay, so it's not just a lab curiosity. Where can people actually put one of these heavenly purified habitats? What kind of spaces?
The sources list a surprisingly wide range, showing its versatility. Individual bedrooms, obviously, double bed areas, Rooms for pregnant women or infants, you can see the appeal there.
Definitely peace of mind.
Medical care spaces too, like hospice rooms or post-surgery recovery areas. Studies, meditation rooms where clean air might enhance focus. Even shared spaces like staff dormitories or executive suites.
And mobile applications.
Yeah, interestingly, they even mention mobile structures like RVs, tents, and cabins. The idea seems to be creating these purified microenvironments wherever you spend significant time, especially sleeping time.
So putting it where it counts most.
Exactly. And it's worth reiterating, again, this isn't positioned as just another air purifier or some sealed oxygen chamber.
Right.
It's designed as a continuous, daily use personal air reboot space, creating that deeply clean breathing period, 8-10 hours or more, using this unique Air Six-Free Maze system. It's about consistency, that extended period of pure air exposure, giving your body that real break, that chance to repair without the constant environmental fight.
And for the person using it, what are the anticipated effects? Does it connect back to those initial problems we talked about, the fatigue, the skin issues, the aging?
It does, directly. The sources suggest it essentially reboots the body's repair mechanisms. Facilitating truly restorative sleep is a big one.
Deeper sleep, waking up refreshed.
That's the claim. Deeper sleep, falling asleep faster, waking up naturally, feeling genuinely restored, not groggy. And long-term users apparently report fewer inflammatory symptoms, reduced allergies, sometimes even needing less medication.
Which suggests it's easing the burden on the immune system.
Plausibly, yeah. If your environment isn't constantly triggering reactions, the system can calm down. Imagine needing fewer allergy pills just because your bedroom air is clean.
That would be significant. What else?
It also aims to significantly cut down the input of new toxins into your body daily, which, going back to that concept, helps delay reaching the toxin saturation point.
Pushing back that invisible cliff.
Potentially, yes. This is linked to a more stable nervous system, clearer thinking in the morning, less daytime fatigue, better emotional balance. If your body isn't in constant fight mode against toxins, your mind can be clearer.
Makes sense. Any cosmetic benefits mentioned?
Interestingly, yes. The sources mention many female users reporting brighter skin, a ruddier complexion, a more youthful appearance.
A natural side effect of better internal health, perhaps.
That seems to be the implication.
Yeah.
And ultimately, all this ties into the idea of it being a foundation for longevity, establishing this core daily practice of clean air breathing as a way to potentially extend lifespan and health span.
Now, this all sounds incredibly positive, almost like a health panacea, but there must be a disclaimer, right? It's not medicine.
Absolutely crucial point, and the source is very explicit here. It states clearly, this product is not a medical device.
Not a medical device.
Correct. All functions and effects are for environmental improvement as a health aid. Its whole principle is about reducing the daily intake of polluted air, which then helps the body's natural repair processes.
So it supports the body, it doesn't treat disease directly.
Exactly. It's not designed to intervene with medication or replace necessary medical treatment. It's about creating the optimal environment for your body to do its own healing work, giving it the fundamental support it needs by removing a major stressor. It's an environmental tool, not a medical one.
Okay, so pulling this all together, the takeaway isn't just about making the air a bit cleaner. It's not just another home gadget.
No, the framing is much bigger than that.
The sources present this as providing the human body with, and these are their terms, a survival capsule and a longevity capsule.
Strong words.
They call it a civilizational leap enabled by new technology, a complete shift in how we think about our home environments, moving from just passively accepting whatever air is there to actively optimizing it for health.
It really underscores that idea of it being a human body repair daily ritual space, not just an appliance you plug in.
Something that integrates into your life to provide consistent, fundamental support for your body's systems, creating a sanctuary where you can truly reset and rebuild night after night.
The space for recovery.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. What if the real secret to feeling truly rested, vibrant, maybe even extending our healthy, energetic years? What if it isn't just about what we eat or how much we exercise?
What if it's something less visible?
Exactly. What if it's profoundly influenced by the unseen quality of the very air we breathe, especially during those crucial 8 or 10 hours when our bodies are supposed to be repairing themselves during sleep? Consider just how deeply your daily environment shapes your well-being, not just for today, but potentially for your entire lifetime. And what might it mean to reclaim a truly six-free breathing space for yourself?